All right. I have quite a bit to say about this episode. Where do I start? It's been another time skip. This whole episode, it seems like the idea was to bring them back together for this dinner before Viserys dies. Lord Corlys, it seemed like he ran into the wrong dudes, right? They slashed his throat. He got internal fever. Apparently, he's about to die or dead. It's either way. So Lord Daemon, I believe he's trying to become the Lord of Driftmark and the Lord of the Tides. And niggas always got to do too much. Niggas walk into this man's house and just straight up slander, right? But before we get to that, let's start over. There's a trial that's about to be had. And it already seems like they're conspiring because the Hightowers, Otto and Alicent, they already had Aemond, Lord Corlys' younger brother, the ignorant one. He already made his way there, had a meeting saying, hey, if you make me the Lord of Driftmark and Lord of the Tides, I'm gonna owe you and we're gonna be in your debt. Meaning, if you make me the Lord, anytime you need me, I'm there. And of course, with all that power, it's going to be enticing to the crown. Otto and Alicent, because they want power. Either way, this presents some problems for Rhaenyra and Daemon, because Daemon is now her husband. It presents issues because if you're questioning the succession in regards to Driftmark and becoming Lord of the Tides, you're also questioning the legitimacy of her or Luke's or Jace's blood. Is he a true Valyrian, right? And that's going to bring it into question again. So because of that, they have to go back to King's Landing. They go to King's Landing. I thought it'd be a great procession because the princess, the heir of the king is back. Very minimal. And it seems like that was the plan by Otto. Maybe I could be mistaken. It seems that way. But they go and they visit Viserys. Viserys, he looks like a mummy. I'm surprised he's still alive. He's got like a big ass hole in his face. His eye is gone. Well, his right eye. This man is a walking skeleton. He's a corpse. They go to see him and, you can't forget about the milk of the poppy, right? He's living on the milk of the poppy and his mind is all over the place. So they go to see him and in the midst of all that, I don't want us to get lost. Alicent, right? They're having a regular meeting, right? And they ain't really talking about shit. Alicent know it. And they tell us something that's going on with Aegon. And okay, this is just biased, but I preferred the previous actor for Aegon. This guy just looks like a jerk. I did say last time that he seems very kingly. And okay, this is weird, but he kind of is. The reason being, he apparently does some forcing, right? Because this is YouTube, forcing on this girl, one of the servants, Diana. Fancy way of saying Diana. And of course, she goes to the Queen Alicent's like, yo, I just went. I was trying to serve him. I didn't see him. He turned around. All of a sudden, I was trying to tell him to stop. He violates her. I thought Alicent was going to have her killed because I'm like, Alicent, I'm not sure how she's trying to move going forward. She gives her a drink, right? Of course, that drink is to kill any possible babies because we know what happened there. Then she gives us some money and let her go. Different people would have gotten rid of her, even though Aegon is the one who messed up. He's a creep. And she even denounces him like, you're no son of mine. Of course, privately, publicly, she still got to support him because he has her blood. One of my favorite scenes, because they go, like I said, when they got there, they went and they saw Viserys and he's a walking corpse for the most part. But one of my favorite scenes when they got back to King's Landing is when Jake and Luke, they go, or Jason, Luke, I don't know what the hell, they go to where they were training back in the day, right? When they were younger, when Sir Criston was low-key bullying them. Now, I did think that this scene low-key disappointed. I liked seeing them in that because they hadn't been there in a long time. And, that's where they grew up. What I was looking forward to seeing is how they interacted with Aemond. And again, no surprise there. Aemond's my favorite character so far in the show. Aemond and Daemon, those are my guys. They are 100% always on demon time. I'll mention Aemond and Daemon again in the same capacity towards the end. Just hold on a second. So that's one of my favorite moments, mainly because I wanted to see how they interacted again with Sir Criston, right? I was curious as to how much they grew. Have they been training? In my last discussion about it, because I didn't do a review about it, I did a discussion on Twitch and I said, I guarantee you once we see Aemond again, he probably will be able to best Sir Criston, because how they used to clown that boy when he was younger, he has this visceral just hate, this drive to be strong. And after getting Vhagar, that boy leveled up. He looks like a grown man. They're all around the same age. Roughly, they're older. Aemond and Aegon are older, but he leveled up. He looks like a full-grown man, which he is, but he looks like a warrior. So he's there with Sir Criston, and he bested Sir Criston. Seems like he was trying, and then he's like, nephews? I'm like, oh, God, I feel like I was watching Snowfall. Nephew, teach a man how to squabble. What happened was, I wanted to see how Sir Criston reacted to seeing them again. I wanted a quick spar between them because that would have made even the final scene between, oh my God, I keep getting confused with Luke and Jake. Jacaerys is the firstborn. Lucerys is the secondborn. Then we have Joffrey. As a Game of Thrones fan, you guys know how we feel that way about Joffrey. But I think that final interaction between Aemond and Jacaerys, it would feel a lot more impactful if they had a quick sparring match there. Granted, it would have been great to see Sir Kristen and how the interaction went after so many years. But I digress. Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, found out that her mother was a Baratheon. Interesting. Like, it's just seeing those names from Game of Thrones that we recognize is always makes me feel some type. I don't know. It's like just knowing that. Either way, Rhaenyra goes to make her claim, or just to convince Rhaenys that, hey, this is our best play at this point, because Aemond, he's gonna fight for his own plight to become Lord of the Tides and the Lord of Driftmark. What are you gonna do? And she figured out that she's gonna basically make a case for herself. He's like, what about my sons marrying? It's so weird, right? Because like, what about my sons marrying your granddaughter, which is Daemon's daughters, but I guess they're not Daemon's sons. It's so, bro! That's Rhaenyra's play. It seems like Rhaenys is not going for it because they think that Laenor is dead. He's not. He's off with his boy toy, having a grand old time on the island of gay people, wherever that is. It seems like it's across the pond, right? Laenor's happy. Rhaenys is grieving because Corlys is gone. Both her kids are gone because Laena, she offed herself, essentially, using Vhagar. Laenor, he's having fun gallivanting. Either way, this is set up for the final plight, right? Of Aemond, Rhaenyra, and supposedly Rhaenys. So it starts off, and the first person that's going to hear the plight, or going to make their plight or their case, is Aemond Valerian, the younger brother of Corlys Valerian, the man who is the husband of Rhaenys Targaryen, or Valerian at this point. And of course, the person that's hearing their argument, their case, is Otto Hightower, because he's the hand of the king and he's standing in for Viserys. All right, that's not bias. And he's making his case. Blah, 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 blah. Why I should be this. Valerian is in my blood. I was born on the seas. Blah, 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 blah. In the midst of that, Rhaenyra is now about to make her case and walks in Viserys. I'm shocked because I thought he was dead. I thought he was just a dead man walking. I mean, he is, but he made his way there because his daughter was crying the night before, saying to defend me, defend your grandchildren, essentially, even though it's from your wife and your children. It's so weird. It continues in Viserys. He's in there to now here or standing. He's like, nah, I'm gonna take care of it tonight. Of course, Vaemon's like, fuck, I didn't have a deal with him. Viserys comes in like, why is this a thing, bro? Why are we debating succession when it's already been set? Luke is going to inherit Driftmark and become Lord of the Tides because he is Laenor's son. What's the issue? Well, Daemon wasn't having none of that shit. He said, you got me fucked up. You got one more time, pal. He said, you got me all the way fucked up. You heard? And I was like, nigga, do you know where you at? Yo, he was talking crazy. He's talking mad spicy. I'm not gonna count. I was like, okay, this is what we doing. Okay. Talking mad spicy. Before that, though, Viserys does say to Rhaenys, of course, cousin. Like, yo, the only person that would know about Corlys and what he wants is her, because that's his wife. And she stood behind Rhaenyra and saying Corlys wanted Luke to be the inheritor of Driftmark and Lord of the Tides. And Vaemon is like, nigga, I just spoke to you, but he did talk spicy. He said to her, yo, I don't need your support. I was just letting you know what was about to go down. Rhaenyra came a little bit more humble, but Rhaenys, she's kind of like, you killed my son, G. I'm not on that with you either way. At that point, Vaemon, he goes crazy because he started talking to the king something crazy. Yo, he said, you worry about your family, I'm gonna worry about mine. On the game, he turns his ire to Rhaenyra and her kids, right? Kids standing right there. He like, bro, these kids, bro, they not legit. And what I liked was when he went back to the crowd and he's about to say something crazy, right? You always know when they're about to say, call them bastard. And Daemon's like, say it. He low-key was like, nigga, I dare you. I thought he was about to back down, right? I thought he was about to chill. Nah, he doubled down. He called them bastards and called Rhaenyra a whore. I said, oh shit. Viserys could barely stand up. I will have your tongue. Listen, he should have been retired. I'm like, okay, who gonna cap him? Because you can't let Vaemon walk out of here. You can't let him walk out of here with the things he's been saying. You can't let him do it. Daemon didn't let him do it. Daemon took this boy head off and said, yo, he can keep his tongue. Otto, disarm him. He's like, no need. No need. I already did what I need to do. Play back. We good. Ain't nothing else for me to do. I got this nigga up out of here. I was like, shit. And I was like, nigga, You a nigga and you walk in there talking that spicy, not watching your back. You don't got nobody. Well, I'm sure he had like his dudes because he walked in. When he walked in initially, back when Jake and Luke, they were in the, I don't know where the hell they were. Where they normally train, right? Somebody gonna have an official name for it. Where they normally train, where Aemond was fighting with Sir Kristen or sparring. Yo, if Aemond walked in there and he saw them, he gave him the meanest smug, like, nigga, I'm gonna get the rid of. Fuck them niggas. They ain't fucking strongs. Either way, fast forward, my G's. Fast forward.